shared commitment to peace, understanding, and mutual respect. And may I remind us that this day serves as um, a key point, or maybe a meeting point for us to acknowledge the fact that despite our differences, we belong to one human family. So our program today brings together voices from different regions and experiences, each one sharing wisdom, hope, and practical steps towards a more peaceful and inclusive world. So I want to seize this opportunity to actually thank each and every one of you for being part of this meaningful event. And we'll be going straight away and to officially open today's event. We are honored to be joined by a distinguished peace builder and a respected regional leader across the African continent, Dr. John Mugisa, who serves as the coordinator of the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association, Central African Sub-Region. And permit me just to indicate that this event of today is actually organized by the Global Peace Let's Talk in partnership with the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association of the Central African Sub-Region. So here we have Dr. John Mugisa, who serves as the coordinator. And just to get a little bit about him, he is passionate about peace, education, and community development with years of experience supporting initiatives that promote dialogue, reconciliation, and of course, regional cooperation. Through his leadership within the RPFAA, Dr. Mugisa has worked tirelessly to empower peace fellows and grassroots actors to build resilient, inclusive societies across Central Africa. So it is with great pleasure that I invite Dr. John Mugisa to deliver a welcome address for today's International Day of Living Together in Peace. The floor is yours, Dr. John.
Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you so much for introducing me. And I didn't know that you know that much about me. I'm honored to be part of this meeting and especially coordinating the Rotary Peace Fellow Association Alumni Central Africa chapter that I can't do myself. You guys are there, Rose, Julius, and others to support me so that we work for peace in our region. Today is a special day. It's a day where we celebrate people living together in a peaceful condition. So if you talk about peace in Gaza or Syria or I don't know, South Sudan, the Eastern DRC, people will not understand what you are talking about. If you go to Ukraine, if you go to Yemen, it's still the same thing. So peace is an utopia. It is a dream that many people cannot really achieve today. And let alone living together. How can you live together with people who are harming you, who are killing you, who are raping your children? It becomes very, very difficult to accept living together. But this cannot really discourage us as peace builders. And I know each and every one of us here, we are working tirelessly so that peace is restored in our regions, in our communities. We work together for peaceful cohabitation. We work hard for reconciliation. We work hard for conflict resolution, and you name it. So, fellow friends, I'm really glad and honored to open this session so that we hear from your work, whatever you are doing, wherever you are, and this will contribute to the global peace so that tomorrow we see neighbors who were antagonists now living together, embracing dialogue, embracing reconciliation. So thank you for coming, and we are looking forward to listen to different speakers and to enrich all our experience. Thank you so much, and feel free, feel at home. Please share your experience. Don't say, no, this one, maybe, maybe, no. There is nothing that's worth it when you talk about peace. You are welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. John Mugisa. That was well on point. And the goal is we are here to actually affirm our differences and also transform relationships so that we can be able to foster living together in peace. Thank you. We are honored to have you officially open this event of today. And straight away, it is now my pleasure to introduce our first distinguished speaker, a man whose life and work exemplify the very essence of today's celebration, peace, unity, and shared responsibility. Uh, this person is none other than Chief Julius Ntang, who is a respected peace and development practitioner, a dedicated youth peace advocate, and a humanitarian specialist with over a decade of impactful experience in underserved communities across Cameroon. He has led life transforming initiatives focusing on peace building, community development, humanitarian aid, conflict analysis, and empowering young people to become agents of positive peace. He currently serves as the country director of the Community Vision Group Cameroon, a nonprofit that places children at the heart of community transformation. He also consults for the Ithaca Escolapios Foundation and the Piarist Fathers Peace and Development Office in Yaoundé, Cameroon. His leadership extends to his role as board member of the Unity Foundation Cameroon and as board chair of the Grassland Peace Center, both vital platforms for dialogue and, of course, transformation. Chief Ntang is a proud alumnus of the Rotary Peace Fellowship at Makerere University, a member of the global network of positive peace activators, and a certified youth envoy for peace and democracy by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education in Cameroon. He holds, of course, a master's degree in international cooperation, humanitarian action, and sustainable development from the International Relations Institute of Cameroon. His work blends peace, development, and humanitarian strategies to bring lasting solutions in fragile and divided contexts, making him a truly inspiring voice for peace in our time. Please join me in welcoming Chief Julius Ntang as he presents on the theme, Peace Begins with Us, Cultivating Unity in a Divided World. The floor is yours, Mr. Julius. Welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Rosalind, and a special welcome to the other participants who are here with us. It is a pleasure to be together on a day that we have to promote living together. This is so nice. Rosalind, when you were introducing me, I was smiling, and my colleague in the office was saying, is that me that they're introducing? So it's, it made me to smile. So it's really a pleasure to be here. So I don't know if you can permit me share my screen. I have some few slides so that we can follow. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think that's possible. Joseph is actually going to facilitate that. Joseph, if you're listening to us, please kindly help our guest speaker to get us on point with his presentation. Joseph, are you there, please? Are you there, Joseph?
if he's not there, I can send it to you alternatively and you share there. Is that possible?
I don't think it's possible right now. Let me just
Okay,
uh
maybe I just go ahead since he's
yeah,
not there.
just go ahead, and then maybe if he gets the message, he will definitely just connect
All
you
right,
to
that's
share. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much. As you rightly said, I will be having a reflection on the.
So he says he's on it. So very soon you will definitely have your screens shared with us.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Yes, now why he's trying to do that, I believe we can gain in time by moving ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you rightly said, Rose, I will be having a deep reflection on the title, Peace Begins with Us, Cultivating Unity in a Divided World. Like uh, our coordinator for Central Africa introduced or said during his opening remarks, peace is actually what we dream for. It is a dream that everybody in a society is hoping for, because without peace, the other things will be very difficult to assess, be it education, be it health, be it
Please check if you can now. I've sorted that out, please.
okay. Can you see my screen? Is it okay? Can anybody see my screen,
Yeah, we
please?
can see your screen.
Yes, you can see. Yes, you can see it.
Okay, thank you. So that is it. Peace is what peace is above what we know or we have known so far. We know we are already above the level where we used to talk of peace when we had no conflicts in the community, like maybe violence or maybe when there was no war. It is practically above that. So we are at the level where we have to talk about positive peace, which is simply the attitudes, structures, and the institutions that exist in the community that enables us to live in peace. So without justice, it becomes practically impossible for us to talk about peace. And without equity, are we living in a community where people are given the same opportunities despite their status, be it religious, be it sex, be it age-wise? Is that possible? Are we living in a community where everybody is included in development processes? Are we living in a community where there is mutual respect? The moment we don't have all of these put in place, it becomes practically difficult to talk about peace. So for us to be able to live together, we must talk about injustice. Injustice must prevail. Equity must prevail. Inclusion must prevail, and there must be mutual respect amongst us. Be it in the office, be it in school, be it within the community. All of these values must actually resonate in all what we do. And as individuals, remember we are talking about what you have to do at individual level for peace to prevail in the world. For example, for peace to prevail in the world, there are a lot of things that we have to do. And it must start from the family level. Before you find any war in the world, there is always a start point. And that start point generates from the family, who has the family as the origin. So within the family or within our workplaces, do we actually exercise empathy? Do we feel for others? Before you respond to a colleague who is maybe disagreeing with you, do you actually feel his pain? Before you actually take a decision as a leader, do you feel the pain of those decisions or the decision that you are taking will affect? Are you able to actually accept others the way they are, be it language, be it maybe their cultural setting? Are you able to do that? So as an individual living anywhere in the world, we must be able to tolerate. We have heard this particular value, which is so dear to the promotion of peace, that we must be very tolerant at every level of our life. Are you able to listen? We must be active listeners. Most of the times, many conflicts have actually escalated because we were not able to listen to the voices that actually cried out. So are we able to do that? So with that, the spirit to tolerate, it becomes practically difficult for us to build peace. Be you a youth, be you a teacher, be you a parent, be you a religious leader or policymaker, we have that responsibility to build reconciliation, to carry that spirit of reconciliation. You had a problem with your brother, you had a problem with your colleague, you had a problem with your neighbor, and you're unable to reconcile with that neighbor. You don't have that spirit to reconcile with that neighbor. You are actually building a fertile ground for a conflict that will eventually escalate. So as citizens, or as global citizens, we must build that spirit of reconciliation in us. We must be very responsible in our civic behavior. Are you that citizen where you create a lot of disorder within the country? Are you that citizen that talks very badly about what should happen in the country? So that civic responsibility is standing up for values that actually promote peace, good governance, and democracy in your country. Do you carry this value as an individual? Remember, peace begins with you. And are you fond of not forgiving those who hurt you? I know, I'm aware that at times it's very difficult to forget, but many people do forgive, and it becomes practically difficult for them to forget. But forgetting starts with forgiveness. Are you able to forgive? Are you able to say, I understand you. I understand that that might have been a mistake. I forgive you. So we must carry such values. Our famous statesman, Muhammad Gandhi, once said, be the change you wish to see in the world. We want peace. We dream for peace. Are you sure we are ready for peace? We need to come out and fight for peace. You must be that person who will stand up and fight for peace. This means that if all of us at the individual level stand up for peace, eventually the world will be a very peaceful place for us to live. So you must be the change that you want. We have seen globally how people have stood aside to defend their particular interests, which is actually the cause of the chaos we have in the world today. All of what we have at the global level is simply what we have at national level around countries in Africa and in the world. And my country, Cameroon, where I'm speaking from now, is never really different. And these divisions are based on factors like we have ethnicity, we have religion, we have politics, and now we have economic class. And when you take the context of Cameroon, you realize that it is practically what happens at a national level. And I will take you to the day we are actually commemorating here, which is International Day of Living Together in Peace. And this day actually just gives maybe 4 days to the celebration of the Cameroon's National Unity Day, which is on the 20th of May. This is a special day in the history of Cameroon that if I start telling you the circumstances that took Cameroon to this particular day, you'll be so amazed. This is a day that Cameroon wishes for unity. This is a day that Cameroon wishes for peace. This is a day that Cameroon wishes that everybody should live to be at home, out of home. I'm speaking from Yaoundé. This is not where I was born. I'm from the northern region of Cameroon. And do I feel at peace, or do I feel honored living out of home? So it is a day that matches with this very important day in Cameroon. You see, analysts have the opinion that Cameroon has not been able to live up to the standards of this particular day, where the French-speaking part of Cameroon and the English-speaking part of Cameroon was brought together to form a united republic. That was on the 20th of May, 1972. And we have had a series of issues around the country where people have felt that they have been neglected in the way in the governance processes of the country, in development processes, in the government business, particularly people of the English-speaking regions, and maybe some isolated communities around the country. So this is exactly why analysts have held to the point that Cameroon has not been able to live up to that standard. And I share the opinion of this analyst, because if we were able to actually live up to this standard, we wouldn't have actually been facing what we have in Cameroon today called the Anglophone crisis, which actually engulfs the Northwest and the Southwest region. As we speak, if you want to go to the regions now, to the Northwest and the Southwest region now, which is the English-speaking part of the country, it will be practically impossible. You have to do a lot of calls to make sure that there will be no ghost town. As I'm saying, as I'm talking right now, as from tomorrow, right up to the 21st of this month, there will be a ghost town that is imposed by the separatist fighters who want the independence of this English-speaking region of the country. Why? Because of presumed marginalization by the regime. So you see, it is practically very difficult to talk about living together in the world, living together in Cameroon, without considering the plight of other citizens. So it is a call that is going to Cameroonians and to us as peace builders, that you have as a responsibility in every post of responsibility that you hold to make peace prevail in the world, because that is the greatest dream that every citizen around the world will ever dream for. And Cameroon is actually witnessing the consequences of people who never saw peace as a precious dream. The country we are talking about here is a country of over 250 ethnic groups spread across 10 regions in 58 divisions and in 360 subdivisions, which are simply administrative jurisdictions that have been carved out by the government to adequately govern the country. And to nurture the values of tolerance, solidarity, and inclusion to accommodate its rich cultural heritage, we must teach citizens, we must make citizens to understand that it is good to build peace at individual level. Building peace at individual level would push us to build peace at family level, at subdivisional level, at divisional level, at regional level, and at the national level. It must start within us. What are we taking away for this day? I recommend we must be peace ambassadors from our minds, from our homes, from school, from our workplaces, and within our community. That is very important for peace to reign in the world, for this dream to remain precious. We must choose dialogue over violence. We must choose inclusion over exclusion. We must choose unity over division. There's no way we can ever live together in Cameroon. There's no way we can ever live together in the world in the midst of violence, in the midst of exclusion, and in the midst of division. It's practically impossible. We must start small at local level, and then we must think global. This is it. What we are doing here, some of us did not start at this level. Rose started in Cameroon, promoting nonviolent communication, and he is now thinking global. That is why we have this particular event today. And peace begins with us, and all together we can make it last. Thank you so much, Rose.
Please, thank you so very much, Julius. I am so grateful that nobody has been able to leave this place or will not leave this place without those strong key takeaways after giving us hands-on experience and contextual significance of living together in peace, picturing Cameroon and other conflict sensitive regions that can identify with the story of Cameroon. And I want to thank you for raising the idea that, yes, on the 20th of May, it's National Day where we celebrate unity. But where is the unity? We need to reflect. And you can already imagine that in the chat box, you asked a question where George Kimani from Kenya said, that's a profound and important question. Are we ready for peace? The answer depends on how we define ready and who we are. And of course, Mr. Takene says, indeed, we can only be the change we want, even in our homes, neighborhoods, and communities. So you see that what you've dished out is actually resonating as a reflection that we're taking back to go back and be practical examples of fostering living together in peace. So thank you very much. We'll definitely come back to you. Please, if you have some flowers you want to send for Julius, just drop them in the chat box and he will definitely pick the flowers from there. Thank you so very much, Mr. Chief. Thank Julius for that brilliant presentation. Straight away, we are moving to our next speaker while Jim Tang catches his breath. We're going now to Mr. Daniel Usetufo, and he is the founder and executive chairperson of the Young African Women Congress Network and the Excellence Leadership Group, EXLA Group chairperson. As leader of the two organizations, he bears the vision and is credited as the chief executive, directing and shaping the agenda of major programs and projects for the organization's growth and development, while exercising oversight responsibility for all activities within the various national chapters of the network. He also acts as the face of the organization by advocating its position on various national and global issues and resolve for the empowerment of women and progressive Pan-Africanism, which thrives on good leadership. Daniel Usetufo is recognized as an astute social entrepreneur on the African soil. He founded the Excellence Leadership Group, EXLA Group, one of Africa's leading operational and advocacy non-governmental organizations in January 2011. When he was a third-year student at the University of Ghana, Legon, which later gave birth to the Young African Women Congress Network in the year 2015. As a serial entrepreneur, Daniel has established a number of companies in Ghana, including Sita Health Scientific Clinic Limited, a legacy started by his late brother, but by the dint of hard work, he's revived it and has moved it into the next level. We can discover more and more of Mr. Daniel, but today is certainly not going to be enough to tell you of how great this global figure is in terms of promoting peace and community development, especially elevating the situation of the grassroots woman. And so today, Mr. Daniel would definitely be taking a ride with us with his presentation on the topic, Education for Peace, Teaching Values in Schools. Very, very salient topic there. So we want to hand over the microphones to Mr. Daniel to drill us and to give us more skills to be practical instruments of fostering living together in peace. Mr. Daniel, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Rose, for first of all inviting me. I'm happy to be here. And gradually you are turning me into a peace ambassador. and I think I am loving it. It's great. It's an addition to the many things I do, which you've mentioned some of them. Peace is actually the hallmark that we all seek for, because without peace, we cannot do anything we are doing. So I think everyone is actually supposed to be an ambassador of peace. So it's not just a session of people whose mandate or whose task is to work to promote world peace. One of the reasons why I chose the topic I have decided to speak on. Everyone has a role when you want to really have a world peace. It is very important that there's a saying that casually we say in Ghana. I don't know whether it's elsewhere. We say, catch them young and they shall be yours forever. When you want to have a peaceful society, it is important that you would start from infancy, when the human beings are kids or they are children. Because once you're able to start at that time, you're able to get them to understand it, to embrace it, and to live it. So, because that is their formative years. So when we're able to do it like that, it helps. So when you're talking about education for peace, teaching values in schools, all that you are saying is that vital and timely concept that emphasizes integrating peace education into school curriculum to foster nonviolence, empathy, cooperation, and respect among students. It's actually a deliberate attempt to teach philosophy and set of practices aimed at promoting a culture of peace through 1, conflict resolution skills, 2, emotional intelligence, 3, global citizenship, 4, human rights education. The last one is non-violent communication. Teachers have a role to play in ensuring that we have peace. Sometimes when you talk about conflict and wars, we look at it as a very complex situation, but you forget that it actually starts from somewhere. It emanated or perpetuated. It emanates from various localities, small cottages, communities. Then it springs up. Then if you are not careful, the whole nation finds itself into it. And so it is very important that the very people who are young people who actually grow to become mature. In fact, you've seen a lot even in the past, during the Liberia wars, the Sierra Leone wars, the Rwandan civil war, the Hutu-Tutsi, conflict and all that. We saw that children were part of the perpetrators of violence. They were part of perpetrators of violence. The question is, how did we get there? What could we have done differently to make sure that those kids did not get themselves involved to become child soldiers, children soldiers? It's because we failed to inculcate the philosophy and the practices that is aimed at promoting a culture of peace into them. And so if we want to have world peace, it is important that we start from the bottom. The very time when these people are young, that is when you teach them conflict resolution skills. That is when you teach them emotional intelligence, not to just act on any impulsive action, anything that triggers their mind. They have to exercise emotional intelligence. You teach them right from the time that they are kids in schools, in kindergartens. It should be part of their curriculums with inscriptions, the pictorial, demonstrations. We should find ways and means to put them in the curriculum. And that is what is going to ensure that we raise a peaceful society. We raise tolerant society. We raise people who are loving to eschew disagreement, conflict, and accept people irrespective of their background. That's the time we teach people human rights. You let them understand that they have to understand and accept people for who they are. That's the time that you teach them nonviolent communication. Because if you allow them to grow, they have already developed certain concepts. Like I used the wars in Africa in time past as an example. We saw it. Those of us who were there, I mean, at the time, we saw that I'm sure those of us who were not even of age at the time, you might have seen videos. Hotel Rwanda and the rest, you've seen it. So we need to make a very conscious effort to put it in the curriculums, in the curricula for them to understand, for teachers to teach them, to imbibe in them, in their minds, it will enter their brains. Even at that time, when you are able to inculcate it, or you're able to put it in the curriculum, it reduces a lot of things. You see, sometimes you overlook certain things. When you have taken your time to observe kids, you realize that some of them are bullying. And it starts from there. They are learning. You know, sometimes we certainly, you know, let past comments, just let them slide and we are not serious about it. But that's the time that they develop violent attitudes, violent nature. So when we're able to teach them peace at the formative years, it shapes their mind and it reduces bullying and violence. It encourages critical thinking and empathy. It promotes social cohesion and inclusivity. It prepares students to deal collectively with conflict. Because you have made a conscious effort to get it to be part of their curricula. What are some of the core values that we have to teach these kids? You have to teach them to respect. First, for themselves, they have to have self-respect. Respect others. So because if you respect yourself, you certainly respect others. And their differences as well. The next value is empathy. You have to understand others' feelings and perspective. We need to teach kids to understand others' feelings and perspectives. We need to teach them tolerance, acceptance of diverse cultures and beliefs, because we are all not from the same place. I'm from Ghana. Even from Ghana, I'm an Ashanti. There's somebody from Volteria, who is called, we call them Evers. There's somebody from the capital city, Greater Accra, we call them Gans. For the northern region, there are several tribes, over 60 tribes there. The Mamprusi, the Dagombes, the Dagatis, the Dagaris, and all those people, they are there. You have to teach kids that you are not from the same background. You need to accept people for the way they dress, for the way they sing, for the way they even communicate. You need to accept them. You should teach them justice. And when you're talking about justice, we are referring to fairness, equity, and standing up for rights. Some of us find ourselves in the work we are doing based on the socialization we had at home. In my home, there were 3 gentlemen. I've lost my elder brother, so we're used to be 3, and there are 3 sisters. All the 3 girls were after me, and they were close. We were very close in age. So most of the times, I find myself playing with my sisters. They're always with me. And anytime I go out and maybe somebody try to harm any of them, I step up to defend my sisters. I protected them. And that is where the woman empowerment attitude was more or less inculcated in me. It is through my socialization. Because I had a lot of women, 3 sisters around me. I was always fighting for them, protecting them, defending them and all that. And by the time I say Jack, I was already championing for women in general. And that's how come I'm now doing this globally. So socialization and through the education is very important. And we don't have to play up around it. If you want to have a peaceful society, you must push that. Peace values are embedded in school curricula. And that is when we can actually have lasting peace. You must teach them to be responsible. Responsibility is very important. First of all, personal responsibility and then social responsibility. It is part of ensuring that these people grow up to become peaceful. There's a school in Ghana. I personally refer to it as the Ivy League school, the only Ivy League school in Ghana. It is called Ashesi University. It's a private university. It's not a government university. The man, the founder of the school, has developed certain concepts to the extent that a student can leave their laptop in their lecture hall. You go 3 days, you come back, your laptop is still there. You can leave money on the table. 3 days, you come back and you meet the money stay on the table. Nobody will touch it. Several students can come in there to come and do their studies and they will go away, but the money will still be there. How did they achieve that? It was deliberate effort to get a part of their curriculum. You see, when you enter the school, the first few months, there is character grooming. There is character assessment. So the people, the students have been conditioned, in a manner that they have to exhibit good character at all times. So that will tell you that if we're able to get, peace, traits, ethics, philosophies in our school curriculum, we are going to have a great society. You must teach the children cooperation, working harmoniously with others. They have to understand that. They have to learn to work with others harmoniously, to accept others, to accept others' opinions, while they also air their views. It is very, very important. There are some methods by which these things can be implemented, like I've spoken about earlier. Curriculum integration. So you embed peace themes in subjects like history, literature, civics. I remember when we were young, in Ghana, we used to, every story we used to read, lower primary, there was a man called Kwaku Ananse. Kwaku Ananse is the Akan name for. Akan is one of the tribes in Ghana, the dominant tribe in Ghana. So Ananse is Akan name for spider. And every story we will read about the spider, Kwaku Ananse. Kwaku is a male born, a May Wednesday born. So that is Kwaku. So we had the Kwaku Ananse. So Kwaku spider. So a Wednesday born spider. Any story we read about Kwaku Ananse, he exhibited wisdom, smartness, tactfulness. So children who paid attention to how Kwaku Ananse went about his things eventually became very smart. Why? Because it was a deliberate attempt to get us to understand certain things. And through that, such students became very smart. So that should tell you that if you're able to embed these themes in subjects like history, as I've mentioned, literature, civic education, you're going to have a peaceful society. I remember we used to have courtesy for boys and girls in lower primary. So we can have, of course, a peaceful coexistence and other things in our studies. So right from kindergarten, these children are trained to embrace others, to accept others' opinions, to accept the nature of people. to live peaceful with others, then we can have a just society. Other methods include storytelling and literature, like I mentioned, like how they used to tell us stories with Kwekwanansi and other stuff. So if you're able to put, peace themes in some of these stories, so the stories will end in a very, so maybe the protagonist becoming peaceful, and based on that, what the person was able to achieve. If you're able to put it in this context, it will help us to achieve the lasting peace we are all seeking. Then, other methods include role-playing and simulations. So you practice conflict resolutions and negotiation right from the time that they are kids. You don't only teach them public speaking, but you teach them how to resolve conflict and how to negotiate. Because how does even conflict come about? How does war even come about? It's lack of understanding on issues. This one is saying this one is saying that. Then this one thinks that he has to add a strength by picking a gun or a cutlass or a bow and arrow to show that he can kill this one. Then this one also wants to defend himself. Then he also goes for, an instrument of war and fight back. But if we teach kids how to negotiate, that yes, you are saying this, but this is what I'm also saying, then, get to a point where you understand, or you all meet yourself halfway, and you have to teach them. We have to teach them right at the time that they are kids, and it has to be inculcated in the curriculum. You should be able to have circle time and dialogue. So in schools, there should be sessions where there can be open discussions that encourage active listening and understanding. Once there is that, these kids will become peaceful because they are the ones who are going to grow to become adults. So right from the time that they are calm, they've been trained to be calm, to accept others, they become great people. Then there is service learning. So projects that involve students in community building. So they are not taught to be destructive of communities and society, but they become builders of community. So they go occasionally, they go to the community to build a library, to dig a borehole, or to train other younger people, or to even give arms to society, to vulnerable kids. So they are trained in this manner. It's part of the curriculum. It's a deliberate effort right from the onset. So if you're able to teach these values right from the time that these people are kids, you are going to have a peaceful society, because the same people who are going to grow to become adults. And all of this, the teachers are the ones that are supposed to lead us. So they need to be equipped with tools and mindsets to model peaceful behavior. So the teacher doing their training, they need to have that kind of, mindset. They need to be given the right tools so that they can model peaceful behavior in order to be able to inculcate it into these students. There's a teacher in Ghana called, I've forgotten the first name, but the surname is Jackson. His nickname is Dance Teacher. He's been able to, he teaches in the villages and all that, but the guy is now, he's even on YouTube and social media platforms. He's been teaching kids how to dance, so he's been able to teach a lot of kids, and they dance so well. They can do nice choreographies and all that. So imagine that you have teachers who are modeling peaceful behavior to students, teaching students how to be peaceful. Imagine the kind of society you are going to have. Even if every school, there's a subject on peace building, and it's taught once a week, like we did religious and moral education. Many of us became religious through religious and moral education that we did in school. So if we are very deliberate about this, and we're able to inculcate it in these students, imagine the kind of society we're going to have. Then we should have an inclusive environment. So schools should reflect values of inclusion, safety, and democratic participation. So the schools should, there should be that environment where everybody feel belonged. People are not discriminated. The place is safe. There's democratic participation. So students are allowed to, even elect their voice prefect, to be part of decision, to represent the students at school meetings and staff meetings and all that.
Mr. Daniel, you have 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then peer mediation programs. So you train students helping to resolve conflict among peers. So after these students have been given these traits, they've been given this ethic, they've been given these values, they are trained to solve problems amongst themselves, to resolve conflict among themselves. Then you're going to have a very peaceful society. And we all have a role to play. We need to push this in our various communities. We need to pitch this in our various countries, and we'll have a fantastic society. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. Thank you once again.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Daniel Osei-Tufo. We are so grateful. That has actually been mind-blowing from start to finish. You nailed it. And I could see the reactions popping into the chat room. And because of time, I will definitely read all those comments during the feedback session. So thank you very much. And one thing I want to summarize in everything you've said is that we need to be deliberate. We need to be intentional in setting the foundation towards living together in peace, towards promoting inclusion, especially when it comes to peace building. We must start from the root, and that is building a solid foundation through the school system. Thank you so very much. Please, can we offer him some flowers in the chat room as much as you can, like we did to Julius? Kindly offer him some applauses, and your feedback is heartily welcome. And remember, the chat room is open for you to give your own opinions and your own experiences, and we'll definitely read all of them during the feedback session. Thank you very much. As you warm your seat, Mr. Daniel Osei-Tufo, I hereby introduce our next speaker, and he is a remarkable voice in the field of global education and peace building, someone who has worked and is grounded in compassion, cultural understanding, and inclusive development. Mr. Tal Kenneth Kotsum is an interdisciplinary global educator, a UN SDSN Global Schools Advocate, and an experienced nonprofit executive with over 15 years of leadership in education, civil society, and humanitarian spaces. He is a proud alumnus of the Young African Leaders Initiative, known as YALI, an African Changemakers Fellow, and a recipient of the 2021 Lush Spring Prize, honoring his commitment to regenerative community development. His expertise lies in community development, intercultural communication, and curriculum innovation. Tal's work intersects peace building, development, and humanitarian action, all guided by people-centered, inclusive strategies aimed at uplifting vulnerable communities. He is passionate about creating sustainable knowledge-driven solutions that foster peace and resilience. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Tal Kenneth as he shares his presentation on promoting peaceful coexistence, building bridges through cultural diversity, and dismantling colonial legacies. You're welcome, Mr. Tal Kenneth.
Thank you so much, Madam Rose Oba. And I'm very inspired by the presentations of the previous speakers. And I just reflected about something that happened some few minutes ago when I was posting and sharing about these events, mobilize in a lot of people across the board. And what happened is that in one of the groups, the WhatsApp groups from my own community here in the Northwest region of Cameroon, when I dropped this, one of the administrators deleted. And the reason for deleting is that this is a very, very sensitive topic to be discussed at this critical moment because of some of the issues that our brother Tang, Chief Tang, evoked at the beginning of this session we are having. So that tells us already to know how divided and difficult it is for us to talk about peace issues, especially in a context like this where we are facing a lot of challenges about living together, building national unity, and all of that. So it's a good thing, at least coming to talk about this is also to express how challenging it is for all of us to have space to discuss about issues related to peace building, and also reaching out to those who really need to have this conversation at this critical moment. So I'm going to be talking about a sensitive issue, and what really inspired me to talk about the issue of cultural diversity and dismantling colonial legacies is because the same context I'm operating in and what I'm talking about is simply as a result of the colonial legacies that we have as a nation, and I think it's something that spreads widely to the entire African context. So colonial relics are really part of the systems which have dismantled what we really want to work on as far as peace building is concerned in Cameroon and the rest of Africa. But at the same time, we forget to know that these legacies are operating within a framework where we talk about our cultural diversity. And so it's very important that while we are thinking about all of this, we must think about moving away from, over-relying on the colonial legacies to define our national identity, our local identity, and begin to embrace and strengthen, the indigenous values, the traditions, and the social systems that, govern us, that keep us sustaining ourselves, even when, all the systems that we so-called modern systems really are not working. Colonial legacies are still very dominant in our lives. For example, how we govern ourselves, how we organize our education system, how we speak, and even relate to one another. In our context in Cameroon, it is about Anglophone versus Francophone, common law versus civil law, English versus French, and all of that. So these are the fundamental issues that has led to the different fragmentations and divisions, and not promoting social cohesion as we think. We often think of our unity as a nation, as African, in terms of our language, the law, colonial heritage. But these are tools that were left by the colonizers to manage us, and they were not meant to unite us at all. So our true identity is our culture. In Cameroon, for example, like in many African countries, we have over 250 ethnic groups with unique languages spread across, unique traditions, unique conflict resolution systems, unique music, fashion, cuisine, dance, storytelling, and all the values that build our solidarity system. Cultural diversity is really not a barrier to us as the African community, as different African society. It is a very strong bridge. No matter who we are, when we meet to, in the context of Cameroon, whether you're Bamileke, you are Fulani, you are Bakure, you are whatever, whenever we meet, we realize that it is what we eat on the table that makes us happy and we feel really united. It is what really strengthens us. It is what determines what our identity is all about. Our traditional systems that are existing, even now that we have the conflict, we have crisis in our region, the justice system has been disrupted. There are communities where the council is not existing, security services have limited to, protecting themselves instead of protecting the local community. But in these communities, the local traditional council and the council of elders are still operating. You have traditional community work systems are still operating to clean public spaces, and make sure that the community is catered for. Community celebrations like, naming ceremonies for children, festivals that bring people together, coronation activities, all those things are still going on. So the problem is that when we rely so much on the colonial frameworks, things don't work for us. These systems were not built to unite us in the real sense. They were built to control and divide most of us as Africa. For example, even in our regions, even at the level of the national levels, we have arbitrary borders. Tribes that have been, you have borders that have been forged across tribes. You have language divisions that reinforce exclusion. You have elite-based governance structures that ignore our community values. So over time, we have kind of internalized these systems and lost connection with the real thing, who we are, with our own inclusive and restorative models. So what really can we do? Why don't we think about building bridges from our cultures, not walls? So the reflection is that it's important that in as much as we are preaching issues about peace building, living together and everything, we have to go back to tap to this our roots. What about our intercultural festivals? What about the youth exchange programs we used to have between communities where youths from one community will join with youths from the other community and they go out for hunting? What about like what our brother was talking about, teaching, using our educational system? What about teaching our local history and our local languages in the schools that we have? What about, supporting traditional institutions in conflict resolution? Like I just dropped a message when our brother was reflecting about, these values, about how in my own community today, the traditional justice system is what is really working and helping out. Every system has failed. In this system, we know, and our parents and grandparents keep saying that in that traditional council, if you are there and you forget even a dime, no matter where you go, even you go out abroad and you come back 15 years later, there is a bag and a room where you go there, that item will be there, unless you instruct somebody to come and collect. Those are our traditional indigenous systems, and they're working for us. What about promoting, our pan-village or pan-Cameroonian or pan-African identity? These are the things that, bring us together and should not mean, looking at ourselves at, are we Anglophones? Are we Francophones? Where do we come from? How do we define ourselves from, what we inherited from the colonial masters? It should mean being proud of our collective heritage if we really want to really promote peace. We should be proud about what we really where we really come from and what we really eat, how we sing, how we dance, and all of these things. We should celebrate what unites us. Yes, it is a normal thing that we respect our elders. It's a normal thing. You cannot call an elder by their name, but today, with the education systems, you find somebody because we have to work formally. You have a child calling you by your first name and all that. But in the African system, we know that you cannot address an elderly person by his or her name. And with all this kind of way, this way of doing things, it breaks harmony. When a young person addresses an older person by their name, that's already a source of conflict. That is already a source of mistrust. In fact, even our belief in our community way of doing things, our oral traditions, our resilience that we've had over time, those are the strong bonds that if we don't disrupt all what we have in our minds as, that what was left by, the colonial systems, things will not move ahead for us. And because of time constraint, I would like to take us to really have a deep reflection forward, to reimagine coexistence, not around what was imposed, but around what is ours. We should imagine cultural diversity as not something to manage. We can also, we are managing to see how we are fitting our cultural diversity within our national context. So it is something to embrace, to empower, and to build with a lot of energy so that it can help in peace building. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Over.
Thank you, Mr. Tarkenet, for that intriguing presentation. I must say, it took us to another dimension where we actually could see the impact of maybe the cultural ties that we can actually blend in terms of our backgrounds, our religion, our state, everything put together can make a difference when we use them for common good and in helping us to promote peaceful coexistence, because such would definitely help us to build those bridges that have been keeping us apart for ages. So please kindly shower him with some flowers so that he can pick it up and add to the beauty in his home. Thank you, Mr. Tarkenet, and we wish to say that this has actually been really, really a learning opportunity for us to get some skills that can be able to add to what we already know to help us foster inclusion when it comes to promoting living together in peace. We appreciate your input and your expertise on this particular subject in question. Right away, as Mr. Tarkenet warms his seat, we're getting to the last but not the least speaker, the only lady in the line of our guest speakers of today. And it is my pleasure to welcome a speaker whose life work centers around the power of emotional intelligence and human connection as tools for peace. And she is Miss Lavonne Whitman, and she brings with her over 40 years of experience in the travel and tourism industry, where she has worked with numerous organizations to foster cultural exchange and global understanding. Beyond her professional achievements, Lavonne is widely recognized for her heartfelt dedication to empowering individuals and communities to embrace change through empathy, inclusivity, and emotional awareness. Her advocacy for diversity, belonging, and nonviolence is rooted in the belief that everyone holds the potential to contribute to a more compassionate and peaceful world. Through her work, Lavonne champions the idea that lasting transformation begins with the inner work of empathy and honest communication. Her vision is simple yet profound: to create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding that spreads across communities and cultures in the world. So please join me in letting to our stage or welcoming Ms. Lavonne Whitman as she presents on the topic, using principles of empathy, honesty, and understanding to resolve conflicts and build relationships. It's a pleasure having you, Ms. Lavonne. Welcome.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. I'm extremely honored to be part of this esteemed panel, and what I'm going to be mentioning has also been a little bit mentioned in parts of the other three speakers' speech. So it's a sort of probably summary at this stage. Again, I just want to thank you, and I want to talk about the power of empathy, honesty, and understanding. For me, it resolves everything. We've spoken about empathy before, so we're going to go into that. I'm taking my topic and I'm going to break it into different sections so that I can come across clearly and that the audience can understand what I'm saying rather than seeing that long topic. Okay, I just want to, from the word go, say I am a dreamer. I do like to affirm. I do know that the one speaker said that peace is a dream. It definitely is, but we do know that dreams become realities if we affirm it more and we have an intentional focus to achieve that dream. And so that is what I'm going to be speaking on today. Empathy, emotional intelligence doesn't have a nationality. It is a human superpower if we know how to use it. And that's what we're going to do. Each one of us has the capability and ability to be able to be peaceful, loving, and empathetic to human beings. And the best part of this all is that it doesn't cost us anything. We don't have to have educational requirements for that. It can be done by each and every one of us if we want to. It will be. The rewards are exponential. Can you imagine, and we've mentioned this before in other talks, if each one of us can be empathetic, peaceful, loving, and considerate to just one person per day, every day? Can you imagine the impact it would have on this world? How profound that will be. Yes, it does sound like a dream, but it's not impossible. One person to one person every single day, not every 2 weeks or once a month or every 5 years, but every single day. We need, though, to have an intentional focus to be able to take these thoughts that we're speaking about today and put it into action, because then only will it be anything. Otherwise, it always remains a dream. I've said to you now that I have divided it up into 3 sections of my topic, and exploring each and every one of them on a practical basis. We've heard how, and I agree fully with one of the speakers that said that we should start training at baby level. And that's what we're hoping to do here in South Africa and in the travel industry, is to try and take children right from before primary school, nursery school times, and teach them the basic lessons and the basic superpowers of emotional intelligence and empathy. So number one, the power of empathy. And I know a lot of people get mistaken. There is a big difference between sympathy and empathy. So we are looking at the power of empathy. Empathy is the ability to see things from a different person's perspective, to walk in those people's shoes along the journey that they are taking, to be able to get a complete understanding of what they are going through. And by doing this, we can immediately build trust, because when we show value and respect to other people, they immediately build a trust with the other person. So if there are many people around a table, we all show value and respect. It shows that we are building trust. Number two, it diffuses tensions, because when we reduce conflict by acknowledging and validating other people's feelings, we immediately can initially diffuse those tensions. And when we gain a deeper understanding of other person's needs and concerns, what else does it do? It fosters understanding. So we walk into a meeting, we walk into a project, into a situation where we are showing empathy, and those 3 things are coming out: trust building, diffusing tension, and fostering understanding. The second one is the importance of honesty. Now, we all know that people will come into a meeting and just say the right things, but there's no real honesty or transparency. They hide the truth. They sort of speak the words that we're supposed to and everybody wants to hear, but the honesty and transparency is not there. So honesty is being transparent, it's being truthful, it's looking at not just the verbal introductions and interactions, but rather the non-verbal that you can pick up when you are sitting around a table and joining and thinking of peace. What does this do to the importance of honesty? Number one, again, it establishes credibility. We build trust and credibility, as we mentioned in the empathy section. It prevents misunderstandings. And I know one of the speakers was saying, I think the biggest thing that has a problem is miscommunication, when people read your thoughts or read your ideas in a different way. Miscommunication can be the biggest problem in peace building. So to prevent misunderstandings, we are going to be truthful, honest, and have that total empathy with the person we're dealing with. And again, when we foster and we're honest and we foster communications, open communications, it encourages the other person also to be honest and open with us. The third one is understanding, and this is the key to conflict resolution. Other speakers have said and spoken about conflict resolution, but understanding is a big part of it. Understanding is not only listening, but it's understanding and comprehending the other person's perspective and needs. Again, where the empathy comes in, where the honesty comes in. And by seeking this understanding, we can have three things again. We then identify common goals, because if you understand the other person and they understand you, you'll remember and know that we all have some common goals. Remember, we said emotional intelligence is not a nationality, it is a human superpower. So we identify common goals, and when we identify those common goals, of course, we can come to mutually beneficial solutions. Number two is resolving conflicts, addressing those issues and finding resolutions for the work for everyone. And again, building strong relationships. So if we are empathetic, we're honest, we're open to communications, we are looking to build long-term, sustainable, healthy, beneficial relationships in order for us to reach that objective of peace building. So putting it all together, by combining honesty, empathy, and understanding, we can build strong relationships, and that is so incredible. Foster respect, respect each other, open communication. We can resolve conflicts effectively. Remember, we don't want to just resolve conflicts. We want to resolve conflicts effectively on a long-term sustainable business. And now this, and we've spoken about it, one of the speakers has said this before, all of this is a ripple effect. Kindness, peace spreads. It is one virus that we want to catch. We want to catch the virus of peace. We want to catch the virus of kindness, because that immediately flows in and we then pay it forward to the next person. Connections deepen, because now if we have empathy, empathy fosters stronger relationships, trust in relationships. Our world becomes more compassionate. So even if we think this is not a big thing, remember, little bit by little bit, one person at a time will spread, and this world will become more compassionate. A culture of empathy immediately comes and leads to harmonious, collaborative relationships, and of course, peaceful relationships. So in conclusion, empathy, honesty, and understanding are essential principles for building strong relationships. And by incorporating these principles into our daily interactions, remember, we're not looking at when you decide to do it, every 2 months, maybe once a year, your daily interactions. We can create a ripple effect of kindness and compassion and create this harmonious, collaborative, peaceful life that we dream of, that can be. But there are 7 small points that we have to do and be mindful of that. Number 1, cultivating inner peace and calm in our own lives. Remember, we can't create peace and interaction and harmonious life if within ourselves we do not have that. It's very much like being on an aircraft where people say, put on your mask first with oxygen and then you help others. So we've got to create and cultivate inner peace and harmony within ourselves. We've got to reaffirm our dedication to peace. Every single day, reaffirm our dedication to peace, to each other, to the community, to our country. We've mentioned this before. We've got to appreciate and accept that there are differences in religion, in ways, perspectives, languages, and business ethics. And like one of the speakers says, we've got to listen actively, not just hear things, listen actively, because that is how we're going to find out exactly what is needed from the other party. We've got to constantly contribute to peace projects and promote peace. Constantly. You would see me saying constantly, every day, dedicating, reaffirming. It becomes a complete mindset that we have to work towards. Number 6 is we've got to understand and we've got to inspire others. So all of us on this call, if you have success stories, we've all got to be cheerleaders for each other. Because to inspire people will then have this ripple effect where this whole harmonious wave comes and hits us. And of course, the last point is to give yourself kindness and grace and then re-gift it to many people over and over per day. So let us make a conscious effort, because if we don't make a conscious effort, everything remains a dream. Let us make a conscious effort to show empathy, kindness, love, and peace to one person per day, every single day. It'll be the individuals in small organizations, medium organizations, in small and medium communities that are going to cause this ripple effect, that is going to create the harmony we need. Not the big governments, not everybody big, but us small individuals in these organizations like Global Peace Let's Talk, or the other organizations like Rotary that we belong to that are going to make the difference in this. So let us all be the power to do that. Thank you, Rose. Thank you, everyone.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Lavon. That was quite a succinct one there. I really listened with rapt attention. And I think it's the same with quite a good number of us who dropped some key remarks while you presented that powerful one. Thank you very much, Ms. Lavon. It's really, really great to have you on this special day. And your life has been like an example. And it is actually something to say that if we keep on just speaking, it ends up becoming a dream without being a reality. And I like the summary of it all is the Ubuntu spirit. I am because you are, and we rise by lifting others. So we need to create that space, that empathy, because you see your sister suffering and you just allow your sister, you never know you find yourself in that same ish situation. So I like the values you've actually brought about around this this aspect of fostering living together in peace. Empathy is key. Honesty is key. Because without honesty, we can't trust each other. And then, of course, we need to understand how we can be able to feel the pain of each other for us to be able to transform conflicts and and we trust that at a certain point we should start reflecting if this becomes reality, not just the words we utter every day in terms of fostering inclusive peace building. So please, can we just continue with our regular, this time, female flowers, pink, what red, and what have you to our guest speaker, Ms. Lavon, for the wonderful presentation, and to seize this opportunity to say thank you to all our incredible speakers for your inspiring messages and insights from different angles. As we move closer to the end of this program, I would like to open the floor briefly for feedback from all those who are attending and dropping comments in the chat room. And this is your opportunity to share a quick reflection, a takeaway from today's event, or a word of appreciation for our speakers and organizers. And we welcome your voice as part of this global conversation for peace. So please, we will offer room for about 2 to 3 persons. And I would not forget to read all the comments I found in the chat room. So if you want to speak as well, you can raise the hand function if you would like to speak. Then, of course, you'll be given the floor. And if you prefer, you can also keep on typing the message in the chat room. So let me wait for anyone who is ready. If you are ready to speak, you can just click the raise. Oh, Tina is ready to give 1 or 2 things about this event of today. Tina, you're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I'm humbled to share space with all of you today, and bravo for excellence and exemplary presentation today from all of the speakers. Thank you so much. I wanted to find out the key theme of humanity, and starting with our children, to instill the skills needed to prepare them for this world that we live in now, as it will become more conflicted in the future, and to the value of empathy, the superpower I believe empathy is. I wonder what do you, or how do you view the intersection of empathy and the threat of AI replacing us? I'm curious about the role of AI and the future of the work we do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Tina. I think this goes to Miss Lavon and, of course, Mr. Daniel. If any of them can say something, that will be fine, just for 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Do we have Mr. Daniel or Miss Lavon or any of the speakers? Yeah, just a few seconds, please.
Tina, yeah, thank you for the question. AI is still one of those sort of efforts where we don't really know how it's going to be. For me personally, I do not think that the superpower of empathy will ever be replaced by AI. That it's just completely my idea. You know, everybody's on this bandwagon with AI. I think it's also a very experiential sort of journey that we're going now. And as you know, we had this very same question for all the industries, the new industrial revolution coming, taking all our jobs away. Where's the income going to be? But I maybe the percentage will be lower, but I really do not think that we can replace AI with empathy. And I think it is all in education. It's all in mentorship. And if we as people here, if we don't put our foot forward to be able to teach our children how we live, you know, people don't listen to what you do. Children don't always listen to you. They see how you live your life. And if we all make a concerted effort to live a life of kindness, peace, empathy, listening to people, consideration, eventually this will come through to our children. But it is extremely, extremely important that we as adults, whether we're grandparents, parents, teachers, bosses, whatever, we have to set that example. AI is just what we are putting in to that information. So if we put in the empathy and we mentor from a young age of these children, we will be successful. But again, it's a intentional decision to do. You know, there's a new virus going around. It's called intentional deficit disorder. Nobody wants to intend to do anything. So if we make that mindset, and these teachers on this panel, these people who are responsible for this, if we make that intention, we will be successful. But we have to put that forward. We have to turn the dream into action.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lavon. That is well responded to. I guess, Tina, it's fine.
Yes.
Let me just quickly get our comments in the some comments in the chat room, which are very, very important, that form some of the key takeaways in the chat box. From Mr. Tal Kenneth, he says, indeed, we are thinking about transforming conflicts and violence in the long term. We must sow the seeds through our educational systems, especially integrating peace education in the basic education curriculum. And Mr. Julius says, indeed, teaching children peace in schools is one of the most sustainable strategies to build long-term peace. And we move on to the comments of Mr. Tal Kenneth again, who says, in his community, in the traditional council and governing body known as the Kwifon, if you drop or forget anything there is a back and space in the court where this item will be kept for ages. It should be noted that this structure is what renders community justice, especially now with the disruption of modern justice system due to the crisis in our region in Cameroon. And Chief Julius says exactly what comes about due to lack of understanding driven by self-interest is in most instances. And Precious, this very important one comes where she says, I so much agree with Speaker Daniel on teaching peace education to children from a very young age and including it into national education curricula. As an educator who has been in the classroom for over a decade, I have seen how discords and conflicts originated from various roots such as family, religion, and ethnicity, socioeconomic, and what have you, have negatively affected the mindsets of children in Nigeria. What a pity. With teaching peace education in schools and communities, these issues can be reduced. That is why one of the responsibilities she was assigned this year at her workplace was to develop a module for Primary 6 leadership program, and she included peace education, SDGs, and global citizenships as part of the topics in the module. Brilliant. And of course, with the faders that came in, we had this salient contribution again from Taga She, who says he's overwhelmed and this is his first ever peace meeting. I have learned from the diverse speakers how I could be a peace builder starting from home, work, and the society. Peace is indeed a deliberate effort. And Tina, thank you. Excellent response, instilling the value of love, empathy, kindness, and humanity in our children's education and hearts. What a wonderful feedback there from most of our participants. We just have one more thing to go. And thank you very much for all the salient feedbacks, which I think, Mr. Joseph, if you could just have a screenshot of most of those contributions, that will be able to help us to do a follow-up on what we can do better in terms of the subsequent activities we organize in promoting inclusive peace building and living together in peace. Now, as we come to the close of this powerful and inspiring event, it is my honor to introduce a visionary leader who has been the driving force behind today's gathering. Dr. Nikki DePina is the founder and the chief executive officer of the Global Peace Let's Talk, an organization rooted in dialogue, unity, and the pursuit of sustainable peace. Her leadership has connected peace builders, educators, and change makers across continents, fostering meaningful conversations that transcend boundaries and ignite collaborative action. Dr. Depina is known not only for her strategic vision, but also for her deep compassion and an unwavering commitment to human dignity, justice, and coexistence. Her efforts continue to inspire a global community dedicated to making peace a lived reality. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Nikki Depina for her closing remarks of this year's International Day of Living Together in Peace. You're welcome, Dr. Nikki.
Thank you so much, Rosalind. So I am just so truly inspired by all of the speakers today. One thing that we do in Global Peace very well is that we listen. And what you have shared with us today was just so incredibly beautiful because you spoke from something that's real, that matters a lot to you, and what you truly believe in. And that came across from all of you. Every time you were speaking, you were sharing what matters most to you, what you are passionate about. So I always learn from speakers, and we have learned from you today. And the love that you have shared for peace is just absolutely incredible. You know, our emblem for global peace, let's talk, is an eagle. And you know that eagles fly the higher. And they look down and they see something that needs to happen. And that's what you've done today. You've been flying and soaring like the magnificent eagle. And you looked down and you taught us something that we need to do to support the chaos in the world today. I have loved each and every one of you. So I am not going to single out anybody. Together, you as a team, you have made this incredible impact. So we record this, and we're going to share your recording and your voices. So watch the space on our social media, because we'd like everybody that didn't attend today to also hear what mattered most to you and what difference we can make, because you've given us so many ideas. So what will happen after this is all of you together, is that our communication team sits together and says, what did we learn today? And how can we now introduce that and share that? The other thing is, a lot of you spoke about difference in education and schools. And Global Peace Let's Talk has an international youth group from the ages of 15 upwards till 23. But we have school-going children also in that group. And these children are so hungry for change in schools. They really are. So your voice can be an influence also for those that are trying to get schools to make a difference in what exactly are they teaching at schools. Because our world is in such chaos, we need to go back now and say, let us teach you how to manage and your values, and let us teach you how to move forward without a feeling that you in such different space of conflict. So there's so much that I've learned. I can't speak for long because our Zoom has ended, but I want to say from my heart and from my mind, thank you so much. We love you and we hope that you're going to come back and talk to us again. Rosalind, our executive PR, thank you, my dearest, for the Zoom. It was your idea, and for the whole team that worked on getting the Zoom going. Mondi, I see that you are here. Thank you, Mondi, for your work. Thank you to Joseph for managing the Zoom link for us. We are all family, and you will stay with us long after the Zoom has finished. So God bless you and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Please, can we give her some flowers? Thank you, Dr. Nikki. Indeed, we are a family and we remain a family. And we have built this family of global peace builders who want to promote living together in peace. And as our own way to appreciate the speakers, please, we just said we are going to send PDF copies to you for your certificates, but we said everybody should actually have a few of the certificates that goes to all the speakers as a thank you. So in the chat box, you will definitely see a screenshot of the certificates that has gone to all our distinguished speakers. That is definitely on its way. It hasn't arrived yet. So it's a thank you to all our distinguished speakers. It's a thank you to the Global Peace Let's Talk, and it's a thank you to the Rotary Peace Fellowship Alumni Association Central African Sub-Region. And it's a thank you to our technical team, Joseph, Norman, Didan, and every other person in the communications team. And of course, we will not forget to thank each and every one of you who has actually been part and parcel of this event of today. Please, to immortalize this, can we just activate our cameras so that we can be able to take some pictures to immortalize this day? Thank you very much. And we definitely will be connecting to you for subsequent follow-up sessions like this, so we can ignite more debates around strategies that can actually help us to realistically promote living together in peace. So I'm just pleading with my brother, Chief Tang Julius, to take us some beautiful shots. Please prepare yourself, like I'm seeing Miss Lavon. She's looking so beautiful. And of course, all of you, beautiful smiles. I can't just stay without talking about it. Every face is just smiling. Thank you, Reverend you, Betty, for being part of us. We are so grateful. Thank you, each and everyone. I can't even continue mentioning how much joy I feel. And just to mention that a report of this event is going to be published in our next edition of the Symphony newsletter, thanks to our reporter, our special envoy from the communications unit of the Global Peace Let's Talk, Ms. Mustafa Insha. Thank you very much that you're going to spotlight this event so that we keep promoting and also holding more debates in areas that has to do with promoting inclusive peace building. Thank you very much, everyone. And it's been a swell time with you. And we say bye-bye and keep being the shining light of inclusive peace building in your various communities. Thank you. And it is on this note that we draw the curtains in today's edition in this year's edition of celebrating the International Day of Living Together in Peace. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Rose, and every speaker. That
Thank you.
is my favorite topic, and I'm doing well for people.
Thank you. You are free to unmute your microphone and say thank you, bye-bye. You can say thank you even to the speakers. You're free.
Thank you to you, Rose.
Thank you to all the speakers.
Thank you to the organizers.
It's good to have you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Vincent, from the USA. We had people from different countries across the world. For this, we say big thank you to everyone. Dr. John Mugisa, extend our greetings to everyone of the Rotary International, because we'll definitely be connecting and partnering together for peace.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. On this note, we can close the room. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Batwira itu lura kamera. Nda batu yuke screenshot. Gracias. No, doctor.
Mama ende ke ndera no wanda wita mama. Ogo dia terengi. Ngai da mama aram kari mi mama.